I think anyone who knows and speaks to doctors does not find this result shocking. I think this has been coming for some time, and I think it's been obvious to most doctors that this was going to have to be the type of action that we would take to get this rather callous government to the table to discuss pay in order to avoid something like the winter we just went through, where we had excess deaths of 1,000 people a week. So doctors have lost about 26% of their pay over the last 15 years. We went through a period where we had an imposed wage freeze, an imposed contract, and imposed conditions on our supposedly independent pay review body. And I think when you compromise that kind of independence in a pay review body, you end up in a situation where the government is running ragged over a profession and not respecting what a lot of members and doctors are saying, which is that the cuts have to stop. You can't take away our pay like this, and that doctors are not worth a quarter less than they were in 2008. This is a campaign for pay restoration. As I said, I don't think doctors are surprised. I think if you speak to any doctor, they've often thought about moving abroad to places like Australia, New Zealand, Canada or America, because the pay and the conditions are often so much better. And that's why we're seeing 9,000 vacancies in secondary care. We have a massive workforce crisis when it comes to recruitment and retention, and pay is a significant factor that contributes to that. So I don't buy that at the moment. Inflation is not being driven by cash being sloshed about in people's pockets. We know that everyone is struggling with the cost of living crisis, and our pay has continuously been below inflation for 15 years, which has amounted to this pay cut.
What would it take to avert the walkout? What kind of a pay offer or compromise would be acceptable?
The reverse of the 26% pay cut. We've been trying to get through to the government since last summer. We've tried numerous occasions: July, August, October, November, December when we announced what our first round of action would look like, and January when we started the ballot, and now we're here in February. We've tried numerous times to get through to the government to start talking about this issue and what kind of solution we can agree to. That's the first step that we need to. Yeah, absolutely. You make a really good point. The first correspondence I got from the Secretary of State was 2 days ago, responding to a letter I sent back in January. I think he was writing that in anticipation because he was worried about what exactly this ballot result would look like. And I think he's right to be worried, unfortunately. This is a massive mandate, and it's been quite shocking that he has had to respond only when industrial action is on the table. It never needed to come to this point. Our 72-hour full walkout does not need to happen. He needs to come to the table with assurances that the Treasury, Jeremy Hunt and Rishi Sunak, will provide new funding so that they do not pit doctors against other staff or doctors against patients. This kind of resolution will be the only satisfactory resolution in my mind to resolve this dispute.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I think it's really important that the government recognises that we're fast approaching a period where they need to come to a conclusion. Every August, there's a natural period where doctors rotate, and we know so many doctors are looking over their shoulder with one eye at Australia and New Zealand. If we do not make a resolution quickly, those doctors will leave in August, and we will set ourselves up for another winter where tens of thousands of Britons are going to lose their lives because of the lack of planning from this government.